Hey there, I'm John Zador, a physical therapist with Creekside Physical Therapy, and today I'm going to help you understand how to improve your plantar fasciitis pain by strategizing the time on your feet, by figuring out appropriate foot support with your shoe wear or taping, as well as some hands-on and stretching and other exercises that you can do to decrease the intensity and severity of your pain on your own. So think about these, give them a whirl if you're interested. If things are improving but not quite where you want them to be, feel free to reach out to us at creeksidephysicaltherapy.com. Shoot us a message here on wherever you're watching this video, and we can help you further improve and get back to doing everything that you'd like. So if you reference our previous video about plantar fasciitis, so remember that plantar fasciitis is essentially an overuse injury of the connective tissue in the bottom of your foot. So you have the arch of your foot, the connective tissue along the bottom is called the plantar fascia. It tends to break down where it attaches to the heel or in that back half of that connective tissue. So ultimately, we want to make sure we're asking the body to do the right amount of work on the foot. If you're on your foot too much, walking too much, standing too much, etc., that foot will not have enough time to calm down and heal and strengthen at the appropriate rate, and you're never really going to get over that plantar fasciitis. So it's really important to figure out how much you can be on your feet before irritating that pain. Figure out that amount and then shoot just below your tolerable amount so you're allowing that plantar fascia time to heal in between periods of stressing it. Now obviously daily life requires us to be on our feet, moving around, walking, standing, doing things at home and at work. So sometimes it's unavoidable to use our feet more than what we typically would want them or feel comfortable using them. So with this, it can be really helpful to break down how long you're on your feet into smaller chunks of time so you get more rest in between. In between times on your feet, you can do some of the strategies we talk about later in this video to decrease the severity of that pain. The other thing you can do is to time when you're doing those activities to either earlier or later in the day based on when your pain is the worst. So a lot of the times people have pain worst first thing in the morning. If that's the case, don't go on a long walk or do anything early in the morning. Wait till your foot is more loosened up, more warmed up and feeling better before you're walking and using that foot more. On the flip side, if your foot typically gets worse throughout the day as it gets more tired, you want to do more of your walking in the morning or on your feet time in the morning when your foot isn't as irritated. So ultimately, you need to figure out how much your foot can handle, and then you want to break it down into manageable chunks throughout the day when your foot typically feels the best. Now, along the same line is choosing appropriate footwear. So a good shoe can help support your foot, and so the plantar fasciitis doesn't have to do as much work to support your foot while you're walking, standing, and doing life. So if you have a more supportive shoe, or if you have a more flexible foot, a supportive shoe will be more helpful in managing the flexibility of your foot, depending if your arch or your heel is more flexible and how it's moving, either in and out with pronation or supination or rotation of the heel. The specific shoe will vary, and that is something that we would definitely help you out with in physical therapy and get you fitted with a good shoe that could decrease some of that work that the plantar fasciitis has to do. Along similar vein, using orthotics can be a really helpful way of supporting the arch of the foot. It won't help the heel quite as much. It can definitely support the arch so there's less twisting where that plantar fasciitis or plantar fascia attaches to the heel. The other thing that can support that plantar fascia, so it's doing less work throughout the day, is a really rigid, stiff taping. We'll typically do this in physical therapy to help support that arch, keep it from moving as far. Then the plantar fascia doesn't have to do quite as much work. So depending on your foot type and exactly what is going on, modifying your shoe, your orthotics, and taping can really be helpful in managing how much time and extending how much you can be on your feet. So that's something we would definitely help you out with, but it's definitely something you can think about and strategize on your own if that's something you're interested in. Now, when your foot is hurting, we definitely want to be able to calm it down. So self-massage of the areas around the painful spot can be really helpful. So if it's hurting on the bottom of the heel, don't rub that. Rub the bottom of the foot, rub your calf, rub your hamstring along the back of the thigh. All of those structures attach to the plantar fascia. And if it's tight in the back of the thigh, and the hamstring, in the back of the calf, and the Achilles, or in the mid portion of the bottom of the foot, that can all irritate the plantar fascia at its attachment to the bone and give you more pain there. So massage can be a helpful tool for that. If you're familiar and comfortable doing that, go ahead. If you're not trained in that, definitely reach out and get trained in how to properly massage and work on your foot. That can help your body feel more comfortable with that plantar fascia moving. The other thing that's associated with plantar fasciitis is calf, hamstring, and bottom of the foot tightness. So stretching out the bottom of your foot, the calf, the hamstring, going nice and gentle with it for longer durations, like a minute or two, is better than being really aggressive and intense with your stretching and only holding it for 10 or 15 seconds. A slant board, which is basically just a ramp that you stand on, is a great way of stretching out your calves. A lot of my patients swear by them and are really happy with them. That can be something that you could invest in to help your foot feel a little bit better. The other thing that can be really helpful is doing some nerve gliding exercises. So with true plantar fasciitis, it's just that connective tissue between the plantar fascia and the heel, or in the plantar fascia itself, that gets irritated and broken down. But right next to that, you have the plantar nerve, and that can a lot of times become irritated. So doing a nerve gliding exercise, like the seated static nerve glide, supine or laying on your back nerve gliding exercises, to get that whole nerve chain from your back to the bottom of the foot and moving and gliding better, that can be really helpful at decreasing the pain when you're walking. A lot of my patients have found it to be really helpful to do the seated static nerve glides at the edge of their bed before they first take those few steps in the morning. That can help to decrease your pain. Or if you've been sitting at your desk for a while, doing them before you're up and walking can be super helpful, as well as stretching throughout the day. The calves and the hamstrings can help keep that foot from getting too tight and too irritable. So in summary, we want to make sure you're asking the right amount of your foot. If you're overusing it, it's really, really hard to get on top of your pain. It's pretty much impossible in my experience. And so doing less, supporting your foot with a nice shoe, orthotic, taping, something like that can be helpful in decreasing your pain. And then also stretching, self-massaging, getting those nerves nice and moving can all be helpful ways to decrease your plantar fasciitis pain. So hopefully this is helpful. If you have any other questions, you can give us a call, or you can reach out to us on our website, creeksidephysicaltherapy.com, or shoot us a message here where you're watching the video. Thanks and have a great day.